Simon & Schuster Audio presents My Escape from Hollywood. Unapologetic, unfiltered, and unashamed. By Maitland Ward. Read by the author.
To my husband, who has encouraged and stood by me every step of the way, and to my mother and father, who raised me to be the independent spirit that I am. Chapter 1. I used to hide in my room and imagine David Hasselhoff and I would one day get married. Probably after a fast chase, and definitely after we solved some crime with Kit, his talking car. Who knew that Kit was played by Bill Daniels, and that he would one day be my teacher? David would wear his leather Knight Rider jacket when we wed, with his curly chest hair exposed, and I would wear a gown with ribbons and hoop skirt, and my dogs would be my flower girls. I thought he might smell like baking vanilla, or maybe gasoline straight from the pump. Kit would marry us, and we would drive off to a place where we could make babies. But the fantasy always abruptly ended there. I knew that in order for any of that to happen, I would have to grow up and leave my parents, and that would disappoint everyone. I was acutely aware that if I could remain around the age of 7 for the rest of my life, I would make my family proud. 7, I thought, would be an age where, when you danced around the living room in a Cinderella dress, they'd applaud you, but the glass slippers wouldn't yet pose any real threat. It's an odd thing to realize no one wants you to grow up when you're actively doing that. I was a sheltered only child, raised in Long Beach, a suburb of Los Angeles that people nicknamed Iowa by the Sea because of the simple small-town vibe, and also because in the post-war years it was said that you couldn't swing a cat in this town without leaving a patch of fur on a Hawkeye. We weren't Iowans, though. My people came from Texas and Saskatchewan, somewhat respectively. I walked home from school with the same kids in the first grade as I did in the 8th, and I could smell what was cooking for dinner the second my mother greeted me at the door. In the afternoons, my mother and I would watch soap operas, and then I'd play Star Wars with my dogs and cats in a big yard with a little frog pond that was shaded with avocado trees. Our Springer Spaniel was always Chewy, and I was always Princess Leia. At dusk, I'd sit at the front window and wait for my father's car to turn into the driveway. Those headlights and that turn and my dad's footsteps walking up our porch were predictable. Every girl should take for granted that her dad will...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?